Hello and welcome to UA Tea Time within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firstua.com. I'm Sergey Velichanskiy.
30,000 soldiers have been demobilized from the anti-terroristic operation zone. They all came home after being in active constant combat for several months and some even for a year. What kind of men we will have upon their return? What if our heroes become our enemies, and what can we do to turn soldiers back into loving fathers and husbands?
Something much funnier than this, but you know, in the recent year and a half, over 1.5 million displaced people in Ukraine, which we would have never even thought of happening anything like this. You know, as from Ukrainian standpoint, I just hope that we will have somebody who is willful enough to bring reforms to Ukrainian politics and economy.
I mean, as high as the sky, and so the people actually, even though their teams played in Ukraine, they chose to stay in Poland, because Poland co-hosted the championship as well. Because comparing to 300 euro per night in Kiev, the price in Poland was 60 euro per night.
Since you are the consultant to a client who had lost property in Crimea due to annexation of Crimea, could there be law pursuit?
We'd like to get to know you a little better. How many years have you been in Ukraine? And what is your general impression about being here?
Put your finger on the number, how many times you traveled. What brought you this time?
I've lived in South America.
So you do have cross-cultural experience.
Oh, definitely, sir. Definitely.
Okay. That's interesting, because it's one thing to be successful in the West in business, but it's totally different if you go to a totally different culture. While we are at cultural differences, I just thought that probably one of the major hindrances in the business is the difference in of different cultures, how they value time.
Recently, as far as I know, 2 reform projects, packages, were directed to the Venice Commission. One is from the administration of President's administration, and another one from the reforms group of volunteers, but highly professional volunteers that had worked on this as well for like over a year.
Yeah, but just
they
like with UCAS,
international law.
but just like yes, I know, but just like with UCAS, they start arresting their property and assets in Europe. That's the way to go. Isn't
like
that the
being
way?
on time? Like we know the German culture, and we know some other cultures that, you know, sometimes being on time means, yes, it being just right then on that time. Or being on time is being 15 minutes ahead of time.
Exactly.
And in some other cultures, being on time is like 15 minutes after it's still being on time.
Still being on time, yes,
Well,
definitely.
you probably know
I mean,
my next question, but how about Ukraine?
well,
We're not alone while people around the globe stayed by our side. Thank you, Canada. What can I say? Is that partially because there's some parallelism between what took place back in the 70s in Canada with the terroristic attacks and some separatistic movements, and you know, with Ukraine nowadays? Would you please give us a little more background of what did take
What
place
is
there?
really a problem that comes all the way from the Soviet system is the approach to service and the approach to identifying the issue of quality of service.